Okay, young scholars. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the elements of a rhetorical framework. This is going to help you develop some of your thinking and ideas as you are getting ready to write your college application essay, your letter to a military supervisor, or your cover letter for a future job or career. This sounds like really fancy stuff, but first let's discuss what is a rhetorical framework. This is a fancy way of saying these are four elements that you must consider before you begin your writing. And those elements are purpose, audience, occasion, and persona or ethos. I'm going to break down each of these for you. Then in the following assignment, you will have to write a one-sentence summary of each of these four elements of your rhetorical framework. Let's get into it. First, with purpose. You should be pretty familiar with purpose from 10th and 11th grade. Before you write, you must figure out your purpose. And that means identifying the purpose of your writing means that you're able to say how you're trying to impact or influence an audience through your writing. What effect do you want your writing to have on the reader? Here are some questions you can use to figure out your purpose. What are you trying to accomplish in this letter or essay? What do you want your readers to experience or think or feel when they read your letter? What do you want this audience to understand as a result of reading your writing? In this, obviously, you're going to be writing with a very specific purpose. Important to think about that purpose before you begin. Do you want to get into a particular university? Do you want to get a particular job, etc.? A few more things, some more important information. Sometimes the purpose isn't clear till after you've done some writing. The purpose is always related to your audience. Sometimes looking at the audience first can help you figure out the purpose. And sometimes writing about purpose before you draft your response can help you find a thesis or a structure or a plan. Before you write, set a clear purpose. Your purpose can change as you move forward towards your final draft and understand more about what you're writing. Second element, audience. Identifying and analyzing the audience can help you develop a clearer understanding of your purpose and how to achieve that purpose. Your knowledge about your audience functions works as an important guide for you when you're trying to decide what to put in your essay or letter and how you're going to organize or sequence that information. Some questions to think about. What does your audience already know or think about your topic? If you're writing a letter of application, they don't know much about you other than your grades and test scores, right? What do they need to know? What do you want them to know about your topic, yourself, and your message? What interests might they have in your topic, or what things do you think they might find interesting? What do they need to read, or why do they need to read your writing? And what makes your audience a group or community? Many of you are writing college application letters. Think about the people that are going to read your application letters. What might they have in common with one another? What might somebody who's reading your letter at USC have in common with somebody who's reading your letter at San Diego State, vice versa? Moving on. Here's some important information to remember about audience and analyzing. Be specific as you think about what interests them, what knowledge they have, what sources they have, their agenda, how much time do they have to read your writing, and their worldview. Are you writing for a really liberal university or a more conservative university? Or a military supervisor? Try to summarize their argument or the ideas they contribute, meaning what faults or flaws might they find with you or your writing? Be aware of the language and knowledge the audience favors, what kind of facts they like, what sort of values they insist upon, and what their expectations are. And remember that your writing moves from a kind of internal focus, writing more to yourself, to an outward focus, thinking about how that writing affects or impacts the reader. How is your writing supporting a shared understanding of what you want to communicate? How does it read both to you and how does it read to your audience? Occasion. This is a tougher one, so bear with me. Understanding the occasion in which you are producing writing helps you understand the kind of rules you need to follow or the genre conventions that are most important to your writing. We always write in a specific context, whether it's an essay for class, whether it's a text to a friend. And understanding how the writing takes place in that context helps you understand what you need to do with your writing. For example, you may write to simply summarize a reading for yourself. In that case, your grammar, spelling stuff doesn't matter. Or you might write to prove to the teacher that you've read something well. Those are both summaries, but those two scenarios constitute two different writing occasions and call for different processes and different end products. Thus, the occasion or situation of the writing will influence the way you perform that writing. Some questions. What does this writing have to do with your current situation as a writer, student? How does this writing relate to what others have written? How can your writing create an opportunity for you to say something interesting or important? How can you use your writing to show that you've done your research? This is a great one. If you're applying to universities, you need to show that you know a little bit about that university, their goals, their beliefs. Similarly, if you're writing for a career or the military, you need to research that company that you're applying to or research that branch of the military. You need to show that you know what you are getting into. Next, how can your writing demonstrate your understanding of the community that you're addressing? Similar to that previous question. And what in this situation has prompted you to choose your particular topic? Why are you writing what you're writing? Some important things to remember about occasion. This can also help you develop a clearer sense of purpose. Knowing the context for your writing helps you develop better ideas for the writing, allowing you to write in relation to some ideas. If you're writing a college application letter and it asks you to write about a struggle, they might not want to hear about a struggle you had when you were 5 years old because you're very different than when you were 5. You need information about the writing situation to be able to make key decisions about what you include in your writing and the order in which you include it. Occasion is always connected to audience. Some of these things might be very similar. Moving forward, finally, what I think in college application letters or cover letters or letters to military supervisors, what this might be the most important. This is, what are your personal beliefs? What is your persona? What is your ethos? If you think back to 11th grade, you know that ethos means how can you build trust? Persona, ethos simply refers to the way you are representing yourself in your writing. As people who write, we have lots of ways of presenting ourselves. As experts on family, as researchers who are competent, as communicators who are careful with the quality and presentation of our language. There are infinite ways we present our identity through writing. Every time you write something, you are telling people something about you, yourself, and your beliefs. Ethos refers to the way you build credibility through your writing. It is the way you represent yourself in the writing to gain trust from the reader. This is particularly important for the different versions of the letter or essay you're writing because credibility will be the first thing readers look for. If you misrepresent yourself in these writings, that could cost you an opportunity, whether it's getting into the university of your choice, whether it's getting the job you want, or whether it's getting that position in the military that you desire. So, super important. Ask yourself these questions. What impression do you want to make on readers? What tone of voice do you want to use? What level of language do you want to use? Should it be formal, informal? Should it be slangy or insider language? When I apply for teaching jobs, I want to use some teacher-specific language or buzzwords. How can you let the reader experience your competence? How can you show them that you are competent? And what expectations do readers have for how you will present yourself in this occasion? You know that readers of these particular writings have particular expectations. What are they? Think about it. Some other information. And this goes for all writings, not just this one. Readers will pay attention to the language you use, and they will judge you on your language. Readers will notice the kinds of examples you use because those examples reveal your level of engagement with the topic, your expertise, or the amount of research you have done. Readers will notice how well you explain things. Your ideas find their clearest expression in your explanations. The more developed your explanations about your claims, the more credibility you have with the reader. And finally, readers will detect inaccuracy, insincerity, or lack of engagement with the topic. If you're not interested in what you're writing, it will show to your readers. So, care about your writing and let that care show in your writing and in your work. Now that you have considered the rhetorical framework, develop a set of instructions for yourself. Answer these questions for yourself about how you will use this information as you move forward and write the first draft of your letter or essay. Good luck, young scholar.